Today's training is on basic MLS, and we're just going to go over some orientation on this one. Following this, there's going to be a couple other classes. One's on options for searches, using a map search or a data search, and searches and save searches, and then valuation searches. So there's there's 5 classes that are in this one. So this is what the MLS looks like. Now you have a couple of different options. We'll start with the top control bar. This is your home screen, has everything you need in it. There's a lot of external links. We happen to use Form Simplicity, which is right here, and you can pick and choose whatever you want, but everything that you're going to need to access is available here as well. The hot sheet, you'll be able to set up. They'll teach you that in the class. Your market watch, the same thing. This will have to do with your listings, your pendings, your expirers that are coming, anybody that's recently visited your portal. And that's relevant when we set up searches and save searches. So we will cover that a little bit more as well. And then just a little more to explore through here. The top is really the most important. Home screen, search. So in search, you have the option of residential, quick, detailed, commercial, income, vacant, rental. I'm going to use residential as our primary example, and I like to use the quick search. So the first thing we have is the status, active, pending, and sold. And you'll notice that there's 0 to 180. That's how many days out the search was. So it's anything that's sold in the last 180 days. For active properties, if you're looking for a buyer, that'd be fine. The contract contingencies you're not going to need. This will differentiate between bank-owned, short sale, or none. Currently nothing's selected, but if I select none, then that's the only thing. It won't pull up bank-owns or short sales. The different types of property that you have, duplex, condo, single-family home, townhomes are in here, and this isn't used a whole lot. You may use that for a little more detail. Now we have a couple of options available. We can do a map search, and I will cover how to do that in detail later, but the best way is to type in go to the map. I'll just show you this because it is important, and then type in your address. So, and what it'll do is it will jump you or give you the option to jump to that address. And by scrolling, you can scroll in, scroll out. It's your choice on what you want to do. Use these buttons so that you go further away. What I want you to do is I definitely want you to do that for your own property for sure. And I'm going to go back to our search. And I'm not going to use the map at this point. But let's say I want to do a zip code search. So I'll type in 32835. And I want the price to be 300. Remember, the zeros are already included because we have this checkbox to 500,000. Now for me, I want a single family home. So I'm going to select single family home. My price point is 300 to 500 and it has to have a pool. So I'll option yes on pool. I can specify beds and baths. Now the way to do that would be 3+, which would be at least 3 bedrooms, or I could do 3 to 5 and now it's 3 to 5 bedrooms. I'm going to leave this at 3+ for right now. And baths I could do full, half, square foot. Let's say we needed at least 2,500 square feet. Don't leave it like this. You have to put the plus sign in there. Or if it's lower than 25, it'd be the minus sign. And if you have a range, it would be 25-3,500. And we'll leave that for now. You can also specify the year built, same thing, plus, or as we've done with this, 1992, dash 2020. You can specify it yourself, and also new constructions available here. Last thing that's going to be standard is the acreage, and here are my results. In 32835, between 300 and 500,000, active property, single family home, between 2,500 and 3,500 square feet, with 3 bedrooms, and it must have a pool. I have 8 results. So let's click on the results. So here are the results. Don't know where the glitch came from that, but I fixed it real quick. And it'll go through each of these properties. Now, when you're in here, there are different icons that are available. This is the photo icon, the map icon, the history of the property, mortgage information, tax information. The MLS shows up, the status. If we were having active, pending, and sold, some would be PNC or PND and SLD as well. The address, and then a ton of good information on here. Now they're going to teach you how to go into Matrix, and in Matrix you can use your settings and you can control what your grid form looks like. This is called a grid form. You're able to control that, and it's controlled up here. But for right now, I want you to see this, and let's click on the first property and kind of take a look at this. So up here is all the photos, and you can click here for to view the photos, or you can click directly on the photos, which opens it up large. Up on top as well, we have the map view. So if we click on that, now we can see, let me pull that down so you see it better. Now we can see exactly where that property is located. Mortgage rates are here. This one's interesting. This is the past history, the history on the property. So this property, I mean, it goes all the way back. In 2010 was on the market for 197. You'll notice that here in 2013, it went on the market for 315. And let's take a look at the last one. Pending. Okay, so where we go? Let's see, 2019. Here we go. It was new, 515, 475,000. They decreased it on 619 to 330. Makes sense. That was way too high. That's just ridiculous. Or 370. They increased it. I don't know what they're thinking. Placed it under contract. Golly, they placed it under contract a month later. So that was great. It came back on the market in 6 days. That's an indication of inspection. So it's important that we look at this as well because it'll give us a little bit of history as you're researching. So back on the market, they made a decrease. Terrific. Went pending. Look at that. Back on the market in just 5 days. Again, probably an inspection issue. They increased it and then they decreased it again. I'm thinking to myself that these people are a little wackadoodle. What I did, by the way, that opens up a separate tab when you do that. So it's out of the screen that you can see. But right up here was where the tab was, so I switched back to the MLS tab. That's the history button. Here's your Supra, how you'll assign one. This is a showing button. So if I wanted to show this property, I would click on this button. It just opened a separate tab as well. Again, out of the viewing screen, so you won't be able to see it. And let's see, so it sets it up as a showing, schedule a single showing. And on this one, I would click when I want to show it. Now I'm going to cancel this because of course I don't want to show the property, but this is how you go about showings. Now also, down towards the bottom, you'll notice that there is showing instructions, appointment only, use showing button. And we're going to cover the rest of this in just a couple seconds, but I wanted to finish up on top. Next thing we're going to talk about is the tax records. So here's the realist property detail, and right next to it is the realist map detail. I like to use this one, and I'll show you why in just a second. Authorize that. It will sometimes ask you if you want to run Flash. I, of course, say yes, I do, and I try and authorize that every time I can. This takes a couple of seconds to load up, and while it's loading, let's talk about what we're looking for in the tax. I want to know who the owner's names are, their legal names. I want to make sure that they're occupying the property. We can get a lot of information on the property, including the mortgage. So this property will pop up, and they're going to tell you how to do a tax search, and you'll be able to do that very quickly by yourself. Huh. All right, I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on the other tax because that one didn't pull up what I was looking for. There we go. This is what I was looking for. So just so we're all on the same page, I use the first one, which is the realist property, not the map search. The map search allows me to search other properties, and that's going to look, well, it's going to look like the one we just had before. So in here, these are the owner's names. They live at the same property we're talking about. You can get a lot of information. They're married in here. Here's their tax information, the assessed value, which I don't put a lot of weight into, by the way. This is where I look to check and make sure it has a pool when I'm verifying it does, that it has a 2-car garage, the beds, the baths, the square footage. All the information about the property characteristics are right here. This is kind of fun. This is an estimated value based on what is being said by the MLS where they crunch the numbers. Now, their confidence score in this is 72%. That means they don't have the highest confidence. When it's in the 80s, it's pretty good that that's the property range. And the range is what I look for. That's where I would price it. Remember, ours is at 350? Huh, kind of interesting, isn't it? Here's some MLS history. Here's the market sale history. The mortgage history. So they have a mortgage for $231,000. They were taken out, it was a refi for $30,000, or the term was 30 years, so they rolled everything in there. And interesting, so we've got this mortgage now. Wow, look at this. there was a final judgment previously. This means the house went into foreclosure. There's a lot of great information that's available for you in the tax, and I wanted to make sure you had an opportunity. Again, go to your home, search your property, or better yet, search a friend's property if you don't have one, and that's okay, but I want you to do that homework while you have it. Now, as you're going through all this fun stuff, this is map tax records right next to it, data co-op data or co-op data program if you want to use that, marketing conditions. I don't use a lot of these, but I would encourage you to take a look at it. Here's a quick link to Form Simplicity, which is the actual software I use when I'm writing a contract on TD, Transaction Desk if you want to use that. They're just hyperlinks that we put in there. Smart Charts. Smart Charts is kind of cool, so have some fun with it. All right, let's talk about the property. We've shown how to look at it. In here, this is the combined days on market and adjusted days on market. There's a big difference. Combined days on market are how many days the property's been on the market continually with no more than a 6 or a 59-day break. If it's off the market for more than 60 days, the CDOM resets to 0. If it was listed with somebody for 180 days, was off the market for 30 days, and then listed for another 150 days, it would still show a continuous time on the market for 360 days. So that's combined market. This time it was listed with no break, and it was days on the market for this person was 98 days. That's important because if it's on the market for a fair amount of time, I would immediately look at the history button that we talked about. Remember we pulled this up? And that's not it. We pulled up the one that showed where it was pending and then back on the market and then pending. That triggers, I want to know what's happening, and it will help you do that. Scrolling on down, here's all the tax information. This is the tax, by the way, right there. And in the tax information, because you have to figure that out when you're doing your formulas, and we'll cover that in valuation in the valuation tab on this. I'm just showing where it is right now. The utilities are included, the AC, a lot of good information. I look for washer and dryer right here when I'm doing this. The exterior construction, a lot of people don't want wood, so you can find that right here. Outdoor features, the HOA expense. This is an annual HOA of $200, which is fine. The schools are included in here. If you can't find them, go to schooldigger.com. Schooldigger.com. The real estate agent, their MLS ID or their ID number and their direct cell phone number, the brokerage they're with, the original price, the previous price, the price change date is included in here as well. And lastly is the broker side commission right here. Also, realtor information, no signs sold. And I like to read the realtor remarks. Email Jeannie at the showing today. Or Jen, pre-qual, proof of funds, info in the MLS is intended to be accurate but not verified. Title is this company, which we'll need when we're making an escrow deposit. And if the buyer broker is not present during the showing, the house co-op commission is 1%. That's actually completely illegal because we're all transaction agents and we're going to be doing 2.5%. It just is what it is. They're trying to make a game of it. So that's a really good overview of the MLS and what we have in the searching and using it here. The stats you'll get that in your class. My matrix, this is our main control where our contacts, our auto emails, and our saved searches will be held. We'll cover that when we get to saved searches. We touched on the tax records, and when we click on Realist, we're going to get the exact same record. We can actually search it out this way, but I want to give you a quick link on how that looks. So I'll click on Realist, and this opens. It takes a couple of seconds to do so. When it does, you're offered an opportunity to put in the address, the owner's name, and however, and it's blank right now. So I'm going to put in, well, I'll put in my name. So let's see what it pulls up for Philbeck. Okay, there's a couple of them. This one looks like me. So what I'll do is I'll unselect all these and I'll select that one, which is the one I want. Make sense? And then double click on it. Now this will open up my property that I own. Has the wrong address in there. We'll have to fix that at some point for my home address. And this will go through everything in that property. You can go through the whole shebang and give you all the breakdown, everything you need. And that's how the tax icon works. The links is all the things that are on our homepage down below. Finance, add, edit is where you'll put listings in. There's a whole different class on that one. Same with market reports. I'm going to let them do that for you as well. Guys, this is an overview of the MLS, a basic one. I want you to go and I want you to search your own property and then create a search around your property. And I will show you real quickly how to do that. So we're going to residential quick, which is where we start our search again. Search residential quick. quick, and this is the same with all of them, active. I'm going to click on the map and type in your home address. For me, I'll type in and it gives me the option, so I pick that. So I'm going to scroll out, and I'll go into this in much more detail, but I have the option for a circle search. I click there, put the dot down, drag. I'm holding down and dragging. I can do that, or I can do a polygon search, which is this one. Click on there. Now I can click here. And I'm basically picking my entire subdivision. And I want you to make your own search too. Now this radius, this circle search, I don't need anymore. So I highlight the red button and then I can delete the shape. Okay, so in here are my results. Excellent. I want to change my criteria. I'm still in the search. I can include the pending and the sold, but I only want to see what's sold in the last 30 days. Click on results, and here you go. Remember how I said it would be different? You can search it this way. Real trick, real cool feature for you. I will show you this because it's really neat. I've selected all the properties, and make sure your drop down is set for 100. You have the option from 10, 25, and 100. I like to keep it at 100 all the time, and you can set that by clicking on your gear icon. But in here, I'm going to click on stats, and I like to go tabular because it's the only one that works. Here is my average sold, average price. It's active, 2,400 square feet, pending, 2,000 square feet. Difference in price, 150 and 143 square footage price, which we really don't use, but I'm just pointing that out. And the sold, 2,300 at 148, and here is my combined stats. That is, I hope, a very good overview in the beginning for the MLS. Please do me a favor. I want you all to go back and I want you to set up your own home, search your own property, and pull the tax records on your property, pull the tax records on a neighbor's property, and create a search around there, but find out about the home you're in or a home you want to use and start doing some research and playing around with the search mechanisms and hit all the buttons. You can't break anything. This will give you a great start. Have a terrific day.